Hey guys, welcome to JayWalk Media. This is Matt Miller, and watch Senator Tom Cotton absolutely destroy CNN's Caitlin Collins on live TV when she asked him a asinine question that was just meant to set him up. Totally ridiculous, but very predictable from CNN. Check it out right here.
Senator, great to have you here because you and your fellow Senate Republicans mostly voted against this, arguing that it's a show vote. But Donald Trump, as you know, recently pledged to either have insurance companies or the government pay for fertility treatments. So would you have voted for a bill like this if he was in office?
Well, Caitlin, first off, I have to correct almost everything you said in the lead-in there, almost none of which was accurate about this bill. First off, there's no risk to IVF in this country. All 49 Republican senators, along with President Trump, support IVF. No state restricts or bans IVF. Second, this bill was about a lot more than just IVF. You said that it had to guarantee access. Access is guaranteed in all 50 states right now. You also said that it was about IVF. It's about a lot more than IVF. This bill would mandate coverage for experimental, controversial procedures like cloning or gene editing or providing fertility treatments to men who think they're women, whatever that means. It would also imperil religious liberty. I support IVF, as President Trump does. We also think that we should allow, say, Christian hospitals to operate their affairs as they see fit, according to the dictates of their conscience. Now, it's not surprising that the Democrats don't agree with that. They've long persecuted Christians, like the Little Sisters of the Poor. They wanted to provide contraception coverage for nuns.
Okay, Senator,
or they've harassed Catholics for going to traditional masses. That's what this bill's about, Caitlin. No, Caitlin, you're not going to stop me there because you're misrepresenting what the bill is about. The bill is about infringing upon religious liberty.
Let's have a conversation about this bill and this legislation itself. You're saying that what I said was inaccurate, that this would guarantee access to IVF, which is what it would do. You're saying that no state restricts it, but no state, guarantees it. The issue, which I know well because this happened in my home state of Alabama, is a court ruling that embryos count as children. And then these IVF clinics, a lot of them closed in Alabama as a result of this because they're worried about lawsuits or about the state attorney general coming after them. That is why this is an issue. And your candidate, Donald Trump, has said that he would like to see IVF and people have access to this. So do you support guaranteeing access to IVF so a ruling like that one in Alabama would not imperil someone's access to it by clinics saying, well, I'm going to close because I'm worried about facing a lawsuit here or criminal charges?
Caitlin, the example of Alabama proves my point. You had the Supreme Court of Alabama ruling on an old law. They felt their hands were constrained by a law. And what happened? The political branches of the Alabama government, who are elected by and accountable to the people, promptly passed a new law that guaranteed access to IVF in Alabama the same way every other state guarantees access to IVF. This bill in the Senate was not about guaranteeing access to IVF, which is not threatened in any state. It was about radical, experimental, controversial treatments, like things like gene editing or cloning, and it infringes upon religious liberties, which again shouldn't be surprising because the Democrats are the party that want to harass and persecute nuns or investigate Catholics for going to traditional masses. That's why we oppose that bill and will continue to oppose it.
So Tom Cotton had to set the record straight when Caitlin Collins asked him this loaded, ridiculous question. Would he have voted differently on this if Trump was in office? Totally ridiculous, as if that's the issue that matters here. And he does a great job explaining himself. He says, look, this is not about access to IVF. That's not at stake. That's not in question or on the table here. You have access to that in all 50 states. And what IVF is an alternative method for women to be pregnant, basically where doctors will remove the egg from the womb and fertilize it outside of the womb. And it's just an alternative measure for women who are having difficulty getting pregnant. And he's saying, look, we're not trying to get rid of that. Republicans aren't against that. One, the reason he opposed it, along with his fellow Republicans, is that they don't want to see Catholic or religious hospitals forced to do this procedure. And they don't want to see insurance companies forced to cover things that they are not ideologically or religiously in line with. But the other thing is that apparently this bill included coverage for other more extreme measures or extreme procedures. IVF Trump supports it. It seems like a totally reasonable thing to do. It seems like a great way for couples who are trying to get pregnant, trying to start a family, which is all great stuff, for them to carry that out. And Republicans have no interest in doing away with this. But of course, Tom Cotton's got to get the treatment on CNN that he's a villain for voting against this, and they're trying to paint over the other legitimate reasons that he opposed it.
Hey guys, I want to give a quick shout out to our amazing sponsor, Bonner Private Wines Partnership. Do you guys like drinking wine with dinner, but get tired of the overly sugary, mass-produced stuff that you find at the grocery store? Well, let me tell you about something different. Wines from extreme altitudes not only taste better, but are actually better for you. These wines come from up to 9,000 feet in the Andes Mountains of Argentina and are packed with polyphenols and antioxidants, compounds that are known to be good for your heart health and your overall health. What does that mean for you? Wines that are rich in flavor and pure without being full of chemicals and dyes that you'd find in generic wines. Imagine tasting smoky, bold tasting wine in a bottle that is crafted in one of the most remote places in the world. The Bonner Private Wines Partnership makes it easy to get these rare wines. Right now you can save $25 on your first order and get complimentary shipping. Just visit bonnerprivatewines.com/JayWalk to get started. This is a healthier, tastier wine experience you won't want to miss out on. Now let's get back to the video.
Here's the thing. I think that as I'm watching this, I'm realizing how good Republicans are doing in these media appearances now. Like, everybody's a savage. Tom Cotton, J.D. Vance, Senator John Kennedy is hilarious whenever he goes on one of these shows. And I feel like, Josh Hawley is great. So many of these people, I think they've learned how to really just not put up with the media's BS and just fire back with a vengeance and set the record straight. They're not tiptoeing around and trying to play the soft politics game and letting themselves get walked all over by these, smug reporters like Caitlin Collins. They're actually fighting back and setting the record straight. And I think, honestly, that's probably something that they learned from Trump. That comes from his temperament. He kind of turned up the volume on the right, being able to push back and fire back at the left and not just being this doormat that we get walked all over in the media and letting them push us around. We have ideas, we have our policies, and we will defend them clearly and loudly against, and we're not afraid to show up on CNN and MSNBC. Kamala Harris, can you imagine her coming on, or Joe Biden or Tim Walz, coming on Fox News to do interviews and actually have an honest back and forth where they're going to get grilled by a hostile reporter? Absolutely not. They would be so opposed to that because they're scared. They don't want to put themselves in that situation because they know they don't have the horsepower to back that up. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this clip in the comments. Do you think I'm right? Do you think Republicans or the America First branch of the Republican Party is actually getting tougher and better at pushing back against the media? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you get notified when we post new content. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next video.